Welcome to Surgeon Syndicate. If you're paying attention, you know that you only make money when you work. It might be great money, but it's dependent on you. The information on this podcast will help you solve that. We interview experts and provide analysis into financial freedom through commercial real estate. Why? To help physicians like you thrive. Let's dive in.
Welcome to Surgeon Syndicate. This is your host, Dr. Michael McManus, and we welcome you back for another show today. Man, today I'm talking a little bit about challenges and how do we deal with them, because this is such a huge part of real estate investing. And I think all things that we do in life, what I see the difference with real estate investors is it really is, it's a mental game. And the people who excel can get past their own mental challenges and limitations. And a lot of other people just stop because the challenges are they're too hard. They're too much to get past. And when I look at this and I think about it from doctors, I think it's kind of the opposite of the way we are as doctors, because being doctors is a well-defined course. And so we get on this course, we know what to expect. And the challenges, although we overcome some incredible challenges, we know in the doctor course that if we stay on track, we push through the challenges, the outcome on the other side is kind of guaranteed. And when we look at things like investing in real estate, there's not the same guarantee for that outcome. And really, I think that there is a guarantee of a sort, because if you keep working, you keep pushing, there will be success. And it's learning how to manage your risks and your benefits so that you can stay in the game and keep playing the game until you see the benefits. And it's not an all or nothing. And I think that's, I don't know, it's what the challenge that I faced and the challenge that I hear a lot of other doctors talk about. So, we were talking about the most recent solo episodes about, I was at this conference with a bunch of, executive coaches, high performance coaches that I'd reconnected with, that I hadn't seen in a long time. And it really had this impact of like, what's possible, let's get going. Here at, Fortress Capital, we're getting ready to roll out a couple of great things. We're getting ready to do an outdoor industrial storage project that we're looking for the right place for. And we're looking to do a fund that'll allow us to kind of bring people along and bring bigger dollars into investing in other people's projects. What happens when you bring these big dollars in is you can negotiate a better deal so that it does better for the investors in this fund format than if you're investing individually. So we were already working on getting these things ramped up. I was finally just making progress. After this big move to Utah and all the chaos that was associated with it. And I go to this conference and man, the mindset changes and the help from hanging out with these coaches. I mean, I was fired up, and I was already like things I was struggling to pull the trigger on. And we'll talk about those in a little bit. Even while I was there, I'm like, all right, that's the whole point, that things aren't going to be perfect, but you got to take the next step. You got to keep going. And at the same time, find a way to take the next step, but still mitigate and manage your risk. And that's where the success comes. So we started building these programs. We were getting ready to launch a series of webinars, and these are going to be some interactive where you can log in. It's going to be a Zoom call. We're going to present some stuff, and then you'll have time to ask questions live and be able to get questions answered. And what we're trying to do is build something that's a little more interactive and can raise the level of the education we're doing here at Surgeon Syndicate. And so I'm at this conference with these coaches, and they're like, so when are you going to do this? Give me a timeline. We can all talk about what we're going to do, but until you really start doing it. So I laid out this plan for how we'll roll this out, how long it'll take to get it set up, and when we're going to do it. Was all ready to go. Had a conversation with my team, making a plan, making sure everybody's on board. What are the things that we need in line? Because from a technology standpoint, I'm dependent on them because they're the ones who understand that stuff. And so we're ready to go. And so I get back and well, before I got back, so back to this conference. So we're at this conference, and one night it's been a long day and we had a little break. And my wife and I, we went to the beach, and I was super tired. I'm lying in bed at the hotel and I'm just trying to do a few things and go through some notes. And I see this funniness in my vision. And I just think my eyes are really tired, especially because I broke my reading glasses. I usually have two or three pairs. When I look in my bag and there's not another pair, and I could have, it's 11 o'clock at night. So one arm's broken off and they're on and they're kind of crooked and I'm reading and my vision's kind of blurry and I just think I'm tired. So I throw in the towel, go to bed. Well, the next morning, guess what? There's still this issue with my vision. Got some floaters that are worse. If there's any ophthalmologists listening, they're starting to think. And there's this little rainbow kind of thing down at one side where it's all blurry below that. And I'm thinking back to medical school and like the one thing you learned that it don't miss a retinal detachment. My mom had one. I'm a little worried, but man, I'm excited about this coaching conference. So I'm like, you know what? It's no worse. Maybe it's not there. Let's see what happens during the day. As I'm going through the day and I get involved in everything, I don't even notice it anymore. So I'm like, okay, it's all better. Until I stop and like, oh no, it is still there. And this is where we as doctors are often the worst at taking care of ourselves. Um, I knowing that this could be something really bad, I really should have gone and gotten it checked out while I was in Los Angeles. But then you're like, wow, if something needs done, I'm in another city, blah, blah, blah. Well, it's not getting any worse. So I went ahead and I finished the conference. I came back. So I go and get checked out on Friday, the first day I'm back. And yep, it's a retinal detachment. Turns out I got lucky because it didn't progress and it wasn't, so it wasn't anything permanent. My delaying it didn't worsen my outcome at all. But they had to take me for surgery that night. So if anybody's watching this, on YouTube, you can kind of see I got the one eye closed because I can't open it because it's all full of gas because so I can't really see through it anyway, and it's more comfortable closed. But so the funny thing, so we looked back and it's like probably the smartest thing would have had to get it done while I was there. But if I did that, I got lucky. They could have done it by a way that had a lower overall success rate that I still could have flown home, or they could have done it where they put oil in my eye instead of gas to while it heals. I would have had to have another surgery where they had to go take the oil back out after I got home. I'm glad I didn't have to do that. Um, so I got lucky that I got home. It wasn't any worse. I could have kind of what I feel for me was the ideal procedure to get it fixed. Um, Hats off to the eye clinic there at the University of Utah. I always say, they always say like, don't go to the university in the summertime because you get new residents, new fellows. So, the fellow at September, so he wasn't brand new, but man, he was good. And maybe he wasn't good, but he exuded confidence on me. And so far, everything's going the way it's supposed to. So I give them a little shout out that they were all pretty awesome. And for the staff, that I was that guy. I was there on Friday afternoon when really this could have been dealt with like if I really picked it up on Tuesday, but I would have been in LA. So thank you to all of them for being there. Um, and again, I can't believe I was that guy on Friday that kept them late. Luckily, it wasn't too late. It was just a little bit after 5. But anyway, so I get this, so I get this surgery and now and I'm making all this progress. And after that, didn't sleep well that night, yesterday. Didn't feel great, but I'm like, I need to go do something, or else I just sit around and think about that my eye hurts. So I was trying to still be active, went ran some errands and did some stuff with my family until my wife was like, I'm taking you home because you're you're really not any fun to be around, because I was a little bit, I think, cranky and not doing that well post op. So, so now I'm home and I'm reading my instructions, and it talks about all the things that I can't do, in this recovery. And my first thought was, I can take a break and recover. I get some time off. I deserve this time off. I've been working so hard. And it's funny, I throw this out like right after I've been hanging out with all these coaches. And then I think, do I really need a break? I really want a break. And can I really stand to stop the progress I'm starting to make again? Because really, for me, that progress, that learning, that doing something I feel is meaningful, and rolling forward with doing something bigger and something better is really what feeds my soul. And it was the inability to build a better practice when we kind of reached the point where I was looking for something more, and my partners couldn't stand any more of my trying to change things, that we decided to split. It was like, really, can I stand to take a break? And I was like, well, you can take a few days. Um, it'll be okay. And and there it is. But because of the people I'm hanging out with, I couldn't stand to do that. And I realized, like, okay, so I got this thing with my eye, but can I stand? What can I do and what can't I do? So I kind of had to roll through this whole process, So like, what is the progress I can't let stop? So I'm like the real estate man. I got the two big projects here. I got to get this outdoor industrial storage thing. And there's no way to make this not happen. We're going to make it happen, and we're going to start this fund. I've been working on them both for a while, and there's no room for any further delay. Is there any reason that with one eye I can't do this work? No. Okay. Next thing that I'm finally getting rolling again is my health. Man, I hadn't been exercising for so long. Moved to Utah. I got to get in shape for ski season, because skiing is very different when you're strong and you're in shape than it is when you're out of shape. Just started riding my bike again. Just started working out and doing some rehab to fix my shoulder. And now here I am. I'm looking at my restrictions. Okay. Can't lift over 30 pounds. I can't ride or run because any sort of accident and jarring could, has some impact of messing up this repair. And I don't need that. So what can I do? Well, I can still go for a brisk walk. I mean, I live on the side of a hill now. I can still get, they don't want me getting super winded and anything where I'm overly stressed, but there's no reason for me to slide backwards, that I can get enough in that I can keep that ball rolling. I can still do a lot of the rehab that we've been doing that isn't, lifting over 30 pounds. Most of it's mobility and working on small stabilizer muscles. Anyway, so I'm like, okay, I can keep doing that. I don't need to cancel those. I had to cancel one on Friday because I was going to surgery. So, so I don't need to cancel anymore. I'm just finally getting this shoulder better. Found somebody who's helping me overcome where I was stalled out. I don't want to go back. I got to keep going forward. So I'm not willing to lose that momentum. And then the podcast and the education, we just hit this 1 year mark. What was it, at 100,000 downloads? This is really cool. And I was feeling this momentum, like, what can we do more? And both from the people we're working with to build this fund, and then hang out with these coaches, they're like, here's your next step. And that's the webinar series. Like, that's our next level of education, because now we can make it interactive. And I've got all kinds of excuses for why I don't want to do this, because it's a time commitment, and it's a lot easier it's a lot easier to do what I'm doing right now, to record these episodes, than it is to have to sit in front of people who sign up and ask really hard questions. And that's scary. Um, but we're going to do it. And we're going to do this webinar series with some of our partners too. So we're going to have some other experts there to help really raise the bar on this. And this is one of those things, I'm going to make the commitment, and I'm going to drive this forward. So if I put this off and lose that momentum, like so many things in life, it's the momentum that leads to success. You take the steps and keep taking the steps and keep taking the steps. You don't have to run, but it's the person who keeps going that eventually wins, that makes the progress. When you keep finding a reason to delay, you'll find reasons to delay for forever. So I I was ready to put this off, but somebody asked the question at the coach, this is such a coaching question. Who needs you to step up right now? And what happens if you don't? Um, you know, and I thought about that, and I thought about me. And one of the things my coaches asked me before, they're like, if you don't do this, who suffers from it? And if I had had people to help me sooner, if I'd found the people I needed, where would I be now? How much further along? And so they really pushed me to say, listen, there's somebody out there who maybe is a doc who is really suffering, and they really need to work less, but they need an alternative income, or they need to just feel the confidence they have additional revenue streams. They can change the way they work and get out of a situation where they're feeling burnt out or overwhelmed. Or they can reassure their spouse that, like, look, we've got this other money coming in, or we've got this, we don't have to worry so much about what happens in the stock market every time they watch the news and see fluctuations. So that other people need this. And that's what really helped me go, okay, somebody out there will benefit from this. And even if it's just one person. So we got to move these things forward. And so I'm looking at all these and I'm feeling really good about myself. And so while I'm at this coaching conference, some of these other coaches are like, why aren't you coaching anymore? Or, because we'd gone through this certification before, the certified high performance coaching. And I'd done that. It was in 2020, I think. And I thought about, I was dealing with my own burnout at the time and thinking, how could I use this to help some other docs? And I just really couldn't fit it into my schedule. It wasn't really something I wanted to do, but I used the process a lot within my business in asking the questions of myself and raising the business to a higher level. How can we make things better? How is it affecting people? And with some of our employees and some of the OR staff, and how I interacted with them and the questions that I asked them to help change their performance levels and have that influence to help them be better. But when they started asking me about, well, why aren't you coaching? Man, I had a lot of excuse. I'm like, look at all the stuff I'm doing. I'm really busy. Um, but the more I thought about it, so this was my thoughts today. I woke up thinking about this, that real estate investing is mostly a head game. And so is business in so many ways. That what are we afraid of? What are we afraid of losing that keeps us from moving forward? And are we really at risk of losing that? Or is it just, an excuse to keep us from challenging ourselves and going to the next level, or feeling like a failure because we tried something new and it didn't work? And it's a big deal how you get past it. So that's really going to be the focus of our free webinar series. To kind of work through a series of things. So we're going to do one on tax planning and financial planning, with the goal there is to help people see how maybe there's a different road to keeping more of your money and making it work harder for you and having more money to invest. And then we're going to do a second one that's going to be uh, what are syndications and syndication structures? Because a lot of people get held up there because it can seem kind of complex. But the better you understand it, the better you can understand, like, how is this set up that for the sponsor to succeed, you succeed? Because I think that's a key for finding where you invest, is that your success is aligned between the sponsor and the limited partners or passive investors. And the third part will be how to evaluate syndicators or sponsors, how to really get in the game, the questions to ask, the things to look for. And I'm still working on the lineup of who within my circle are going to be the people who are going to jump in and help out with this. And it'll probably be about a month. So I think we'll roll out the sign out in about a week here. My team right now is finalizing, making sure we've got all the technology lined up to make sure that everything goes smoothly. So because this is all a next step on helping raise the level of the education we're doing. But this morning I was doing a podcast with a couple of these coaches who they do a podcast and they really focus on women physicians and their special challenges, which is true because then they got challenges as mom and doctor, and it's like they got two hats that really I think as men that we really don't understand that a lot of the time, and it's a different set of expectations. Um, but they kind of asked again about, well, if you're doing this education of this kind of like coaching, and I realize how much I enjoy hanging out with these coaches because it's really fun when you see people kind of have those aha moments like, oh, this is great. So, what I'm looking for now is one guinea pig who's looking to be coached. I dug back out the process I had developed before. This has been kind of grinding in my head anyway about how this can be put together with real estate because there's a lot of people out there coaching real estate. There's some who do really good job. We had one of those on our show, Trevor McGregor, who's excellent, but there's a lot out there that are kind of questionable. I just because I talked to a lot of people haven't been happy with their experience. So we worked through really, we developed this, the whole certified high performance coaching is an amazing process that's been developed. There's data on it that's been thousands of coaching sessions. The highest level certified high performance coaches are charged like $1 million a year to work with them. So, and it because they're working with people who are a lot of really big time entrepreneurs who find that they're really good at their business stuff, but they still get hung up in their head. And it helped me realize like, wow, this is really a big thing. It's been for me. Like if I looked back at all the emotional and mental blocks that slowed me down, and really, if I didn't have those, what has taken me 5 years to accomplish, I should have accomplished in a year. Um, and so this is a big deal. And I would love to see every time I re-engage the physician community, I see how many docs out there are feeling trapped, they're feeling burnt out, or they're not really enjoying it the way they used to because, and a lot of the time it's because they feel like they're trapped and they have to keep working to maintain some sort of lifestyle or be ready for retirement. And opening up these other income streams is a big thing, but it's scary. So we developed this whole process. Um, and I'm looking for one person to be my guinea pig, to be the first one to run through it. So we're going to have an application on surgeonsyndicate.com that should be going live this week. We just have to finish structuring it and getting it tested. My teams, I can already hear them screaming that they're like, can we have a little more time to do this? But we're going to get this out this week. So you can go there and register if you're at all interested in this. This guinea pig is going to be a free session. And we're going to walk through the entire 12-week program. The commitment for the person signing up is that they're going to be all in on this and they're going to be available. It's an hour a week. Ideally, we'll do this the same time, the same date, but we have some flexibility there. But we'll go. We're going to have the application open for about a week, and then we're going to go in and we're going to select the finalists, and we're going to schedule an exploratory call with them to really choose the person who's right for this process, because we need them to be the right person to make sure that the program is what we think it is. So, really we're looking for someone who's committed to going all in and changing their life and changing how they, are really grabbing hold of their financial future. So once we go through that, we'll go back and look at all the candidates too. And for those who aren't selected, who we think would still be good candidates, we're going to do a 4-week group coaching program that's kind of an abbreviated version. And I just want to evaluate this format too. And the point of the group coaching is it could just reach more people with less of my time. And my time is valuable. And it's really, when you look at it from a dollar standpoint, more valuable now than when I was a doctor. And so all of this in the future will be rolling out, will be a paid program. And part of the paid program is just that, people commit to things that they make some sort of a sacrifice for. They gave up some money they could have used for something else. They're also giving up their time. So we want to make sure it's really good. But that first step is, here's our beta group. So if any of you out there who would like to do this 12-week high performance coaching with a focus in here, we're going to look at what may be holding you up as a real estate investor, what's going to hold you up as a business person. When I went through this process, the number of positive changes we made in our clinic, and it mostly started with me complaining about what I didn't like and my coach walking me through where I was blocked and what I could do better and how I could handle it. And man, we changed. I went from like one of the slowest inpatient visits, how long it took me to do a visit, to one of the fastest, that I never had notes left over at the end of the day, that I wasn't staying late. It was an amazing process, and it changed the profitability of my practice and my enjoyment. So there's a lot of different directions here, and I'm really excited about this. So if it sounds like it's right for you, be looking at it there on our website on surgeonsyndicate.com for the invitation to apply. And man, this is going to be so much fun. So for all of you out there, thank you for joining me on this one-eyed version of Surgeon Syndicate, and join us next time. And thank you again for being here.
Do you care about paying too much in taxes? And would you like to save more of your hard-earned dollars? Here's what we found. We found that most financial professionals have a one-size-fits-all solution. So the question is, would it make it easier for you to have someone tailor your tax solutions to your individual needs so you can keep more of your money and do what you want with it? That is exactly what we do at 𝐥𝐸𝐿.
As surgeons, we know the difference between routine surgery versus life-threatening interventions. And I want you to know that I've used 𝐲𝐸𝐸 and her team for my personal financial intervention, and I love the results. I would do you a disservice if I didn't recommend them to you.
We'd love to help you, so let's jump on a call and see how we can collaborate. Simply go to www.𝐥𝐸𝐿.com/McManus and book your free call today.
This has been an episode of Surgeon Syndicate. If you got value from this episode, you know other surgeons are hungry to become job optional, and you can help them by sharing this content today. Schedule a call and we can make a plan. Looking forward to having you with me on the next episode.